These are M42 mount lenses that a friend has lent to me. And the reason being is that he's been encouraging me to get an adapter for my Canon cameras to be able to look at using manual lenses. You will have seen in a previous video that I've been using my wife's Minolta MD50 lens on my Canon, but he wanted me to have a try with these. Now this mount is fully compatible with the Canon, as long as you've got an adapter, and I'll show you that in a second. But what we've got here is a 28mm, 35, 50, he says, trying to remember, 55, a 105, and a 135. Now you have to times it by 1.6 for the crop factor on the sensor, but I've been having a play with these and I'm going to talk you through my experience of this, and I'm going to compare it to the experience with the Minolta lens and the adapter for that. So here's the adapter that I purchased on eBay for just under £8. I am impressed with the build quality, and it is a perfect fit on both my Canon 400D and Canon 40D camera bodies. And the lenses screw in nice and easily and very smoothly into the metal ring that you can see there. It also has 3 small Allen key screws in the back. I'm not sure if they will show up, but there's 3 dotted around here, and that loosens this metal thread so that you can adjust the alignment, because when you first screw the lenses on, you might not have the lens readings on the top. So you loosen that, adjust it, put it back in, tighten the Allen key screws, and then you've got your readings where they should be on top of the lens as you're looking down on it. Very easy to do, and yes, very impressed with this. Now, one major difference in using these lenses compared to the Minolta MD50mm is that the M42 lenses, as I mentioned earlier, are fully compatible with my Canon camera bodies. There's no need for any additional glass for the lens to be able to focus. What this means in practical terms is that I have the full range of the lens available, and I can set zone focusing if I wish to shoot as I walk. What that means is that on top of the lens, wherever I've got my aperture set, there's then these markers which tell me at f8 either side of the aperture that I'm using what the distance is that my images will be in range or in focus. I cannot do this with the Minolta lens and adapter. I need to raise it to my eye, refocus, and take the shot. Not too bad at events where people are more stationary and there's time or more time to get the shot, but for street photography a little bit more difficult. Although I have got some great shots with the Minolta, these lenses will just make it a lot easier. And I do see a difference, excuse me, the look and style of the Minolta images are great, but I think some of that look and feel is also down to the glass in the adapter, creating that additional piece of glass for the light to go through onto the sensor. Haven't got that with this, and I do think the images are a bit sharper as a result and a lot clearer. The first lens I was eager to try was the 28mm Takumar. This gives an equivalent focal length of around 44-45mm on my cameras. So on my way to town one morning, I decided to shoot as I walked and test both the lens and, more importantly, my competence at using it. Later that week, my wife and I visited the Street Food Heroes event in Leighton Buzzard Market Square. This is a monthly Friday event of street food vendors and music. And on a balmy summer evening was a very relaxing couple of hours and some great food. For this, I decided to use the Takumar 35mm lens on my 40D. The 35mm lens gave me an equivalent focal length of 56mm, and I was just keen to see how this compared to the 28, giving me a focal length of 45. Not much of a difference, you might think, but I just wanted to test this out and see and have a play. After a couple of test shots to get my settings, I zone focused to shoot without needing to put the viewfinder to my eye. So the day after Street Food Heroes, I needed to go back into town to do a bit of shopping. So keeping the 35mm lens on my 40D, I shot as I walked. Given the limited experience I've had of trying these manual lenses on my camera bodies with the adapters, what are my feelings about my experience with the Minolta versus the M42 lenses? Well, I have to say, and you've probably gathered this from what I've said in videos so far, I am enjoying these both immensely. It kind of feels grown up somehow, and I think the M42-28 with its lens hood looks nice on my 400 or even my 40D. The M42 lenses are much easier and more efficient to use, and I have the full range of settings available. However, I really like the Minolta lens and the images it produces. It does have a real sort of film quality to it, even before I've done my post-processing. But I do have to check and adjust focus for every shot. However, sometimes slowing down is a good thing. And in the right environment or location, this is a great lens to have with me, even with the limitations. But hey, my life with my health challenges is all about living within limitations. Somebody did ask me on my blog when I posted about going manual with the Minolta lens to let them know how I got on. So I did do a follow-up post and video that I'll link to here somewhere. I wouldn't recommend one over the other. The reason I was asked the question is because that person also had some Minolta lenses that they were intrigued about trying and wondered if the adapters worked. Remember, for me, that I do my photography on a very small budget, not being able to work. So anything that I can inexpensively do to encourage my creativity is welcome. The Minolta adapter was a great option to be able to use a lens I already had. Then I was very lucky that I had a friend who had 6 M42 lenses that you've seen at the start of this video, who said he didn't use them and I could have them to have a play with for as long as I wanted to. So that encouraged me to get the adapter for the M42 lenses. If you don't have a manual lens available but want to look at acquiring them to use on your DSLR or your mirrorless, M42 lenses, from what I've seen online, are relatively cheap to acquire, as is the adapter, and as I understand it, are more compatible with more camera bodies. But please do check and do your research beforehand to make sure that what you're looking at is compatible with the kit that you have. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope that what I'm talking about is useful, especially if you're on a tight budget with photography. As always, give us a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will speak to you in the next video.